When you were operating informally out of your home, what was it that was stopping you from legitimizing your business and formalizing the business?
Misinformation. Someone knocks on our door and it's the health department.
Yeah.
And I felt like a hole open. I wanted a hole to open and then just drag me down.
Yeah, that would be scary.
That's what I was afraid of, and it happened.
So they knock on your door.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
So we started looking for a place. So we stopped production. People kept calling us, no, we can't do it anymore. Sorry. So we started looking for options.
I'm excited to have Aline Olmos here today. And I invited Aline to come and talk with us. I've known Aline for several years. When I was the president of the West Jordan Chamber of Commerce, she had a restaurant in West Jordan. The restaurant was called Tamales Tita. And I think you're still running that business, right?
No, we actually closed down in 2020.
Oh, okay.
COVID killed us.
Yeah. COVID killed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to invite Aline on to talk today about her journey in the food business, because I think, a lot of times when you start a podcast, you ask people about their background and their story and about how they got here and all of that stuff to get to know them. But I think in your case, it is a really important lesson for people who want to start food businesses to observe your journey so that they can learn from your mistakes. And thank you for being open and candid and just being willing to share with people, because it's like, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business or how successful you are, we're all making mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
And so if we can help my goal is to help people streamline the licensing process and launching their food business and trying to help them be as successful as I possibly can within their dream, their vision, what they want to create, but try to help them along that process. So I kind of wanted to start off with you just telling me how you got started in the food industry and what your journey was in the food industry.
Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me. It's really exciting. I like talking a lot and I like helping people I get passionate about this, the food service. So I started when I was 17, actually. So don't do the math. So I've been doing this for 28 years. Yeah. And I've done everything. I started as a disher. I started bussing tables. I worked at Leatherby's for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
I was one of their managers.
Okay.
So I've done everything, inventory. We opened other stores. And then when I quit there, I have a son with special needs, so I couldn't get a job. So we started making tamales like everybody else, or maybe 90% of the people just at home.
Yeah.
It was just to survive.
Yeah.
But it started getting bigger and bigger. Like people will come to our house for Christmas Day or Christmas Eve just to buy tamales.
Oh, wow.
And our street was full of cars, just people walking in and out. And I got scared.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is getting out of hand. And of course, I broke rules like everybody else. The health department came to my house and they said, you can't do this. Yeah. And then I was afraid of the health department like everybody else.
Yeah.
But then when I learned that the health department is there to help us, to teach us, their job is to protect the consumer, to educate us. So I took that. I started asking questions. I started calling, can I do this? Can I do that? I started knocking doors. And then same with the city. I noticed that the city wants us there, the business, and people are afraid, I don't want to go to the city. No, the city is going to help you open your business. They want your taxes to make the city grow. That's something that it clicked me. So I have a good relationship with city and the inspectors at the health department because I learned that. So I've been, like I said, I've been from the bottom. I've been a disher, wiping tables until I became an owner of my own business.
That's awesome.
And I learned the hard way. I was trying to do shortcuts, like oh, I'll charge in cash, but then I was not showing that my business had a cash flow, or it was not successful. So I made all the mistakes until finally I was tired. I closed down, but then I started helping other people opening business, and I saw their businesses were successful. And I started thinking, how come mine wasn't successful? And I started just analyzing all my mistakes that I was telling people not to do.
Yeah.
So now that's what I'm doing. I'm telling people, I'm helping people create business from scratch. I guide them and I tell them. And when I see people selling from their cars, from their house, I tell them my story. And I tell them, there's a better way. I'll help you create your company. I'll help you through just all the hoops and I don't know how you say that, all the trouble to go through because they're scared.
Yeah.
And then I try to educate them. And I've seen successful stories, and then people just recommend me. Like today, 2 people called me, say, oh, someone said that you can help me with this. And that's what I do. I just help people not be afraid of the health department, the CD, the rules. It will help them grow.
Gotcha.
Without being afraid.
So is that so when you were operating informally out of your home, what was it that was stopping you from legitimizing your business and formalizing the business?
Misinformation.
Okay.
Because I was afraid of the health department. I didn't like, it was like, if you go there, they will find you. They will help you. But I was just afraid of going there.
Okay.
I was,
so you were thinking, if I go to the health department and tell them what I want to do, then they will know that I exist. They will watch me and they will see that I am doing this informally.
Yes.
And then I will get in trouble.
Yes.
And so you don't want to ask any questions because you don't want them to, you just want to disappear.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So it's like
no, because I got so big.
Yeah.
Like I was so busy that my neighbors started seeing all these cars. They thought that I was selling drugs because I like Christmas Eve in our tradition in Mexico. Like that's the biggest day. Like we eat dinner super late and people dress up super nice. So you saw these nice cars coming, people all dressed up, going in and out with bags or big packages of something.
Gotcha.
And it was just like a huge line. And people started wondering, what are they doing in that house? And then like next year, someone knocks on our door and it's the health department.
Yeah.
And I felt like a hole open. I wanted a hole to open and then just drag me down.
Yeah, that would be scary.
That's what I was afraid of, and it happened.
Yeah.
So
they knock on your door.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
So we started looking for a place. So we stopped production. People kept calling us, no, we can't do it anymore. Sorry. So we started looking for options. We didn't have the money to go into a restaurant or our own. That's what we thought. We were scared. We were like, oh, just having a restaurant. We didn't know where to start. We didn't know how to create a company. And a lot of people take advantage of the people that don't know. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll help you, but I'm going to charge you this much. And
yeah, what's a normal rate that people could pay to have somebody help them start a business?
Well, it could be, depending on what they're helping them. So between, I don't know, $250 to create a company.
Okay.
Up to do the whole thing. Some people charge us up to $2,000. It's a long process.
Now, when you say the whole thing, are you talking about the food license as well as the business entity?
Correct.
Okay.
Food license, the CD license to talk to.
Okay. So that actually sounds pretty reasonable to me. Like I heard of one guy that paid an attorney $7,000 to set up his business.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, shoot. I
can do it for $1,500.
You don't want to tell him oh my gosh, you paid way too much.
Well, I did find good people. I did. And I'm like hands-on a lot. So I did a lot of mistakes. Like I said, after they came, I thought that I could create the company. I just Google and I started doing the registration. I did it wrong. So when I found the person to help me, I had to pay to fix my problem. And then he did it right.
Gotcha.
So, and there was bad people as well. They were trying to take our business, and it was just a bad story. You don't have to trust everybody.
Yeah.
And
Well, and that might be one of the things that stops people from moving from operating informally to running the business in a formal manner.
Yeah.
Is that they don't want to get taken advantage of. I mean, you're working hard for your money. The reason
Yeah.
you're doing this business out of your home in the first place is because you need the money.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't want to give up your hard-earned money
Yes.
to find out that you got tied in with somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
And once you're in the business, like you're doing it, let's say after we had the problem with the health department, we found a place in Kearns. So we opened our first place. We were so excited. It was busy. It was super busy. We were doing very good. But then it came with we were not educated with the sales tax, with all the tax, everything that comes after opening the business. Because
Yes.
the opening the business, it could be super hard for some people and super easy for other, but it doesn't end there.
That's just the beginning.
That's the beginning. Opening the doors, it could be so easy for some people, but if you're not educated, what comes after is what's going to keep you afloat or is going to kill you. So
Yeah.
the sales taxes, we were like, what? We have to pay every 3 months? And at the end of the year, we have to do this. And then we have to pay employer taxes and we have to do this. So if you're not educated, if you're not prepared from the beginning, it's going to be hard.
And then you might not be charging enough.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people were doing. It's like they don't charge taxes, but then when they have to pay for taxes or the sales tax, then they have to pay it out of their pocket.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to educate my clients is like, that is not your money. The client is paying, the customer is paying for the taxes. And then you just save that money from the government. You put it in a safe place until it's time to pay it.
Yeah.
And it will get you out of trouble, because I owed a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had to file. I was behind like 3 quarters. It was really painful.
Yeah.
So it was all this money coming in, but we were paying our employees cash. We were a mess. So we had a good product. We had tamales, but we were not educated. We needed something. I needed to do groceries. I'll just open the drawer and then go do groceries. I was not organized at all. And when I got an accountant, I will meet at the end of the year, which is a big mistake.
Yeah. Waiting a full year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't meet, they don't ask the one. Some clients have a peace of mind. Oh, I have an accountant. Everything's going to be okay. They don't have time to tell you how to run your business. They're just taking numbers.
No, they'll just take what you did
Yeah.
at the end of the year and then report what you did.
It's super important to check your numbers. Your numbers will talk to you.
Yeah.
Do you know, so I was in business for 10 years until someone from Cisco, I became really good friends with her. She checked my prices and I was undercharging
Yeah.
after 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was pretty much working for free.
Yeah.
That's why everything was coming in. I was giving it to employees to go buy more food again. And I had no money. I was behind on rent. So we don't check prices. We always want to compete with prices instead of quality.
Yeah. It's a very common mistake. So many food businesses don't charge enough for their food. And they're just so afraid that if they're not competitively if their rates aren't competitive, that nobody's going to buy their food. But it's like, you can't compare something that you made by hand with something that has been, some chicken nugget that has been mass produced.
Yeah.
Like you can't compare yourself to that. When it comes to pricing, there's something to be said for a personal touch and
I always encourage my clients that they have to get knowledge. If they need to learn how to do everything in their business, even knowing how to wash dishes. because when they hire someone, how are they going to teach them, or how are they going to do what they want if they don't know how to do it?
How are they going to know how long it's going to take?
Exactly.
How long it should take for somebody to do that?
So you need to learn from the bottom. You need to have a base, like foundation. Let's say there's people that hire like a cook and the owner doesn't know how to cook. If that person's gone, the foundation, you don't have a foundation.
Yeah.
So you need to learn every little thing in your business. So you don't have somebody else coming and tells you this
Well,
is
it
how you
has
do
to
it.
be done this way.
Exactly.
And
You're
then,
like, nope,
yeah.
I know how to do it. Even buying, even inventory. There's people I didn't have track of inventory, and you lose a lot of money in inventory because if you go buy in three cases of chicken, but you only use two every week, the other one goes bad
Yeah.
and you're losing money.
Yeah.
So you have to look at every single detail. Every penny counts.
I feel like hearing that can be really overwhelming for people. It's like,
And there's another mistake. I wanted to do everything. It's one thing to learn, but then let it go. Have someone else do it. Learn how to read the profit and loss, but then let the professional do it. Let's learn how to do pricing, but then hire someone. Let's say there's a lot of people that go to Restaurant Depot and they go to Sam's and they go to Costco and then one day and then they go 3 days a week, but they're wasting money and they're wasting gas. But if they put all that money, all the items, and let's say they order through Cisco or US Foods, they'll see that at the end, it might be a little bit pricey, but their time is precious.
yeah, I think that's a big mistake that a lot of food entrepreneurs make is they don't count their time in. They
Yeah.
don't value their time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you have to factor that in.
Yeah.
Because it's the reason you got into this whole thing in the first place was to take care of yourself and your family.
Exactly.
And then you're in it and you don't know your numbers well enough to take care of yourself. The whole reason you got into this.
Exactly. Sometimes I ask the clients, how much do you make per hour? And they're like, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm like, well, is it just a hobby for you?
Yeah.
Pretty much, because you don't even know how much you make.
Yeah.
They don't pay themselves a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's another mistake. You have to count it at the beginning as a job and then get your secure
It at least has to mentally go in there. Even if it doesn't go in on paper and you're reinvesting in the business, it at least mentally has to go in there.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just I think I have a passion, like, don't make those mistakes. Same mistakes I did. And I think I've helped a lot of people. I started at the same place where I was, located Tamaulipas. There was this Venezuelan people that came, and I was a commissary. They were renting a tiny table.
Okay.
And they were making tequeños, which is like a mozzarella stick.
Mhm.
Well, I saw potential. I saw he was busy and he wanted to do a food truck. That was his dream.
Yeah.
I want to build a food truck. And I started telling him you know what?
Oh,
I was ready to close down. I was ready to just change the whole life, like a different job. But then I saw him and I was like, why don't you just take over? I'll sell this whole equipment. He's like, no, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I just want a food truck because I have someone from Florida guiding me how to do business on a food truck. And I was like, I'll stay here and I'll guide you. I'll guide you through the whole thing. I'll go to the health department. I'll help you everything. And I did. I stayed. Right now, he's really successful.
Nice.
He's at the same place where I was. It's called Alo Maracucho.
Okay.
And then he opened a second location in Harriman, and I was there to help him as well.
Oh, wow.
So I know that by them listening to me, they can be successful and then she even told me that his wife told me, do you know you've helped us about 3 years? You saved us 3 years of headaches.
Yeah.
Because we were ahead. When you start a business, the first 2 years, you lose money most of the times.
You're trying to figure out.
They were successful from the beginning, thank goodness.
That's awesome.
And they listen. They listen. So
that's helpful, huh?
Yeah. Some business owners, they feel like, I have my own business. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me what to do. And that's another big mistake. Always open your mind to learn new things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a professional on your product, No one's going to tell you how to cook your hamburger or make your tamales or whatever you're making. No one's going to touch that. But they're going to teach you how to buy the ingredients, how to manage the money that comes in and out. Always look for a professional
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be on top of the numbers.
Well, and you said something earlier that I thought was what was really interesting. It's like, yeah, when you're okay, yeah, could you do it yourself? Yes. But if you have somebody helping you that has seen tons of businesses just like yours, and you were saying earlier how you would look at other food businesses that you were helping, and then you noticed the difference between what they were doing to be successful and what you were doing that ultimately led to your frustration.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me some of those differences that you noticed between what you were doing and what your clients that you saw were doing.
Well, what I was doing wrong is that I was doing everything.
Mm,
I I hire people just not for quality, but because I feel bad for them. So I did not
oh,
hire the right people.
okay.
Uh,
You're trying to be helpful.
yes.
It's a delicate balance between
Yeah.
your heart and your head.
Yeah. It was like, I can't do this. I need you to help me, but I can't do it all. So I'm going to help you a little bit to do that. I'm going to be
Mm,
paying you to do what I'm doing too, but I'm going to
mm.
help you too. And then I'm going to try to do other things.
Yeah.
So hire the right people. Um, like I was not on top of the numbers. I never asked about my numbers until the end of the year when he gave me the surprise. I'd be like, "You lost this much." And I was like, "How come?"
Yeah.
Oh, because of this or this. That year already passed. I couldn't fix anything. So when I say those things to people and they listen to me, and it's funny that I see him or I knew I was doing it wrong, but I didn't have time. I felt
That's the thing.
I feel like the days happen like so fast. I feel like a hamster running in the wheel. I was just going fast, fast, fast. I can't stop. I can't stop to look at the numbers because I have to go sell at this farmer's market and I have to open this and I have to open this hole to cover this other one. And I'm so busy and I wanted to stop
Yeah.
and breathe. And I feel like if I would have done that like I'm doing now because I'm outside the tornado. I'm looking through the window. That's what I always tell my clients. I feel like you're in the tornado and I'm outside and telling you, go that way.
Mm,
Look, there's a window. And I could have done the same because I had the knowledge now. I've been asking all these questions and I've had the knowledge, but I did not have time to perform, to act.
yeah.
I was too busy surviving.
Yeah. And I think that might be something that might discourage people from making their business a formal business, is being too busy to look at the numbers and to pay attention to the business side of it instead of just cooking, you
Yep.
know? So what would you say to people who listen to all of these things that come with formalizing their business that sound overwhelming?
Well, education is power. Get to know this. Find a professional that will help you, that you feel comfortable with and that you trust, and then it's not gonna take half of your money.
Yeah.
Someone that will guide you and want you to grow. If you can identify those things that you're like, this person is doing it to help me, not just for money, you're with the right person. I partnered with like a family friend. He's an accountant. And I saw what he was doing and I was like, I have a passion to helping this and you have a passion of people knowing about their numbers. So I'm working with a company like that.
Oh, okay.
So we help businesses from the bottom to create them, to guide them. We meet with them every month to talk about the numbers. I always tell them, I'm going to tell you when you're doing something wrong. You can't buy all the shoes with your account. You have to do this, or you can't spend so much money eating out. So I'll tell them. I'm not afraid to tell them.
Okay, so you meet with them on a monthly basis and
Yeah.
you go through all of their numbers and keep on top of like sales tax
Yep.
and all of that stuff with them.
And I
Oh, that's
educate
great.
him. I tell him you have to pay this, you have to save this money. I need you to open like when they first create the account. Open two accounts because at the end of the day, you're going to send that money that is not yours, is the government's, into this account. So when I tell you how much you have to pay in the quarter, you have the money.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are doing it. And it's a peace of mind for me and for them, because that way I don't have to call you to set tax commission, do a payment plan. So it's a peace of mind. And then we also tell them their numbers. We check their prices. This you're not making enough. We teach them how to do profit and loss, or how to read the profit and loss. And I always tell them education is power. And they have access, 100% access of their account, their accounting account. They have the password and everything. Other accountants, they keep it kind of like, oh, it's my information, I'll just give it to you at the end of the year. No, it's their information, it's their numbers. If they have a question, I teach them, okay, they create the account with their username and password, and I just have access to that. They can go anytime. If they are tired of me telling them to do things right, they can go with another one, and they take their numbers. They have power to take their numbers. And I always tell them, knowledge, you, like I ask them, how much do you charge for this? I don't know. Okay, let's figure it out. Because if you don't know, you don't know if you're losing money.
Yeah.
And it might be too late at the end of the year that you already
To make a change.
exactly.
Yeah.
You already
Yeah.
wasted a whole year where you could change things.
Yeah, that's great that you meet with them on a monthly basis. And I was thinking, yeah, monthly is almost too long in the beginning as well. You know, it's like when you're first starting out, oh my gosh, you can make a lot of mistakes in a month.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
monthly
when
is
they just
almost.
start, I go a lot. I
Mhm.
had a friend of mine that she opened in Magna, and she will call me pretty much every day because it's stressful.
Mhm.
We have in our minds, oh, I'm gonna open this, my product is the best. And once I open or unlock the doors, it's just people coming in and coming in and coming in. And that doesn't happen.
That's not the way it goes.
Advertising is another really important one.
Yeah.
If you want to your product to, or your business to work faster, to grow, you have to start advertising even before you open. Like creating, I always tell them, create like excitement. Oh, what is this? What are they doing? What are they gonna open? I always tell them, create the excitement, and always have communication with your clients. I had really good relationship with my clients. I love my clients. That was the hardest thing when I closed. It was telling my clients that I was
Yeah.
closing, and people were like, "Oh, you became part of our tradition for Christmas tamales," and it hurt me a lot.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I see my clients once in a while, and they like, some of them hug me, and
Mm,
you don't have to do that with everybody. But I always tell my clients, if you're in your business, don't hide in the back. Create a relationship with your clients. Go out to the tables. Like if you have a restaurant, go out and talk to them, and so they can see how the owner is coming and making sure that everything is good. That makes you feel good as a client
yeah.
when you're eating, and oh, the owner that has the name
Yeah.
tag says owner. Oh, is everything okay? Or they give you a little something like a little candy or whatever. Just be a person, a normal person. Don't put yourself high. I'm the owner
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm too good for people to see me. No,
Yeah.
just be normal.
Yeah.
And if you have a food truck, it's good when you start remembering names. I used to
Oh,
remember some of the names when they're like, oh, this is an order for this person. And then when I say, hey, and they're like,
yeah.
it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are little tips I always tell my
Yeah.
clients too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I have a couple of clients that they remember all their customers' names and their orders and stuff like
Yeah.
that, what they like. And yeah, people love that.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't do that.
It's getting
I
harder
don't.
for me
Yeah, I'm like,
because of the
I
age.
barely remember my own name sometimes.
My name is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kinds of, so you've gone through advertising, sales tax, business setup, um, anything else any advice that you have for food businesses to make a successful?
I'm really like no picky, but with the health department, going by the code, I learned something on the first class that I went to, the manager certification. They say that when you go into a restaurant, you don't think, I don't know if you do that, but you don't go into a restaurant thinking, I hope that my server washed his hands, or I hope the cook
Yeah.
did this. You go in there, trust in them. So, us as food business people, we always have to think that our clients are trusting us.
Mm,
So, always do things right, not to save some dollars. Let's say you see that the chicken smells funny,
mm,
then you use it. You just wash it twice or cook it longer
yeah.
to make it. That's something that I always emphasize on my clients. I always go into restaurants. You can't do that. You have to do this. You get the safety of the client is first.
Yeah.
Because if your numbers are right, I learned a story on one of the classes I just took. I've been taking the classes over and over of the health department, the manager certification, and it really shocked me. It was a story about a restaurant downtown. I think it was called New York or something. That their one of their employees, they did not educate their employees right. Education, management. So they didn't educate their employee right, and the guy had hepatitis. He
Mm.
didn't want to miss work, so he didn't tell anybody. So he went to work.
Ugh.
I think for a couple of weeks or so, and then people started getting sick. Health department, of course, if there's a
Yeah.
that's
Hepatitis
yeah,
outbreak. Yeah.
yeah. So they closed down the restaurant, and it was a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It was clean. They had everything really good. They made good money and everything, but they did not educate their employees. And they closed down until everything was clear. I guess they had to wait a certain time, like months, until the last contact, to make sure everything's clean. Well, they opened and it wasn't the same. They
Yeah.
went out of business,
Yeah.
and it was a successful restaurant.
Yeah.
So education is the key
Yeah.
for everything. Numbers, health department, and it's not just you, but give that same power to your employees.
Yeah.
Because what good to you is like if you go and get all this knowledge of the health department, but your employees are doing things wrong, are making your clients sick. You
Yeah.
have to protect the people that gives you the money
Yeah.
to have your business open.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Protect the client.
Safety, food
Yeah.
safety is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say food quality
Yes, that too.
is right up there too. It's like
That makes you lose
if you
business.
even if you just make sandwiches, if you make a really good sandwich, you will have no shortage of customers.
Mm-hmm.
People will travel for a really good sandwich.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you focus on flavor, food quality, and
Yeah.
food safety,
Yeah.
it's all about the food.
I've had customers when I had my restaurant that will come from Park City, from Rose Park. I've had a client that will come once a year from Las Vegas and one from California. And every time they left, they would take tons of tamales. And that made me feel so
That's
good
awesome. Yeah.
because I was like, they're coming all this way just for that
Yeah.
product that you can find anywhere else. Because you can see tamales on Facebook, on the parking lots, anywhere. They will come to me.
Yeah.
And it made me feel good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So, now your clientele, as far as like the clients that you work with, what types of businesses do you normally work with? Like what types of, I know it's all food business, but like, um, what kinds of food businesses are you working
Well, I
with?
have a lot of Venezuelans right now, and I have a few Mexican food. I don't have food trucks that much. I had one, but the food truck business has, I don't know. I remember when the cities used to have only one food truck per city, and then all of a sudden you can see a food truck everywhere. Everybody thinks it's the best business. And this state is really hard because we have, like, what, 4 months, 5 months of good weather, and the rest is super cold.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Like if you want a sandwich, would you rather go into a warm place and sit down with the sandwich, or standing outside the food truck eating the sandwich?
Yeah.
So some of the food truck concepts are, the business is good, but now a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Like to rent a space. a space to park your trailer. I remember when I had my business, I had a trailer not completely, it was just for catering. And then I would go to a place and say, hey, we want to do this event. Can we park here? And yeah, they will let us. But now they charge so much.
Yeah.
And it's hurting. It's like it's harder for the food truck business to survive that for a restaurant. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I only had one food truck, but I I have more of the restaurants, and because that's what I did, more
Yeah.
restaurant. But I was trying to get into the food truck business, but I think there's too much competition.
Yeah. The food truck business is kind of tough. It's like there's a lot of competition and it's highly regulated. It's even more so regulated than other food businesses.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, and then you have all the other challenges of of all the other food businesses
Mhm.
on top of
The weather.
the weather and additional regulations and additional expenses that other food businesses don't have.
Yeah.
Food businesses don't have to pay for parking or to vend a lot of times,
Uh-huh.
so it's like, yeah, it's a tough
It's a
it's a
tough
tough
market. Yeah.
business. Yeah,
I feel a lot of respect for the people that have a truck and they survive.
yeah,
I've seen trucks that they've been there for a while, and seriously is my big respect for them, because I think that business is really hard. Surviving the winter and trying to find a business is really stressful. Like in the summertime, you have to do all this work, like all these events. You work probably 18 hours a day
oh yeah,
just to keep up.
and it's risky too.
Yeah.
It's like you could get invited to go to take your food truck to an event that maybe they're saying there's going to be 1,000 people there. So you buy food for 1,000 people,
Yeah.
but then maybe only 30 people
Yes.
actually come to your truck and buy a meal. And it's just like, what do you do with all that leftover
Been there.
food?
Been there. It hurts
Yeah.
so much. It's like a pain in your stomach that grows and it goes to your
And it
chest.
happens all the time. I see it, I've been doing this for almost 5 years and I've seen a lot of food trucks come and go out of this place. And I've seen it over and over again where I'm like, oh, how was your event? And they're like, oh, it
No
was,
one showed
it
up.
was dead. Nobody showed up. It was
Yeah.
awful. I have all this food and
And
blah,
then
blah,
it's just
blah.
that they charge them to be there. Some of them,
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
charge them a percentage or they charge them a flat fee. So they pretty much spend this money on food and then the fees, licensing, all the stuff, and then they didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And paying employees that they took with them.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. That's why
Yeah.
I said
That's
that
tough.
as a business that I don't think I will get into. They need, I
So
have a lot of respect.
would you rather do at this point, given all your background and knowledge and everything that you've been through, would you rather have a food truck or a
A
restaurant?
restaurant.
A restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And or actually catering.
That's the thing. It's like,
I love catering. I think
yeah.
it's fun because you don't have to make the same menu. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's cost effective because if they say 100 people, you buy 100 people, and you know those 100 people, if they show up or don't, they already paid you for 100 people. You go, serve, deliver, you're done. Well, you wash dishes, but you're done. You're done for the day.
Yeah.
You already made some money. So I think catering, if I go back, I'll probably just do catering. Or with the tamales, people like my Cisco actually wanted some of the flavors of my tamales to go into Cisco, but it was a lot of work. Like I was overwhelmed with things, and
Mm,
I could not split myself into other little pieces to work onto the Cisco thing.
yeah.
So I'm actually helping people as well to get into grocery stores because I started walking that route that with the tamales and then I stopped. So I have knowledge on that. So if someone comes and say, "Hey, I want to go into grocery stores with my product," I know how to do it. So I've been helping, like I help Alo Maracucha with their product. One of the products, and I'm working on other ones to get the nutrition facts, to work with the Department of Agriculture, do labels and all that stuff. I work with them,
Great.
and I help them to get into grocery stores. So I'll probably do catering and maybe get into grocery stores with the tamales. But restaurant, I'll just help people open restaurants because you become a slave of the restaurant. And I have my
Yeah.
son that's special needs, and I have a 9-year-old. If I ever do a restaurant, I will be with when my kids are older and they don't need me. They suffer a lot. The kids suffer a lot.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
kids were dishers, they were cashiers, they were waiters. I'll tell you, one day I had no employees. There was always an excuse. Oh, there was a fly. There always dumb excuses. No one showed up. It was my daughter and myself. We opened on a Saturday. She was what, maybe 12?
Oh, wow.
She was a waiter the whole day. I was cashier and cook. She
Oh,
made
my gosh.
$145, and people were saying, she's the best waiter I've ever had. She was funny. She was remembering everything. She was checking on the tables.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was pretty funny, but it
Yes, you
was
got to
painful
do
at
what
the
you got
same
to do.
time. Yeah, the kids
Yeah.
suffer a lot.
Yeah.
When you have little kids and you're running a restaurant.
That's one thing I like about catering is you can it's flexible.
Yeah,
You can, if you have a family vacation planned, you just don't schedule any jobs that week or whatever,
exactly.
you just schedule around
Yep.
your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing I don't know if a lot of people understand is how much successful food trucks and restaurants depend on catering in order to stay afloat. It's like restaurants that have been in business forever, they do catering.
Yeah.
They do a lot
Yes.
of catering.
You see, Cafe Rio,
Yeah.
for example. They were successful.
Chick-fil-A does catering. So yeah, it's like
Everybody, even the big ones do
Yeah.
catering. So
even the big ones do catering.
that's
So that
how
should
I
tell you
survived.
something.
Yeah, that's how I survived longer. I did farmers market, I did catering, I did office events. I did I even rented out the restaurant. Can we do this event? Sure, just come, and I did everything, and I think that's why I survived longer. But then when 2020 came, it was just like
Oh yeah, that was such a
too
battle
much.
for
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah. So you've done the restaurant, you've done catering, you've done like food production, started down that path of getting foods in grocery stores, and so you've
Farmers markets.
farmers markets, yes.
Yeah.
And all of that, if you were to go back and start from the beginning, you'd just do catering.
Catering, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I love the farmers markets. I always tell my clients, try to get into a farmers market. It's like the direct um relationship with the client. You get to know what the client likes, and then if they don't like your product, let's say you open a business, you made cookies, but then you go to a farmers market and you see that you're not selling enough. Why would you open a whole cookie place?
Yeah, yeah.
But if let's say you're having a burrito and then you have a line at every single farmers market that you go to, then you know that you're a client, that you
Yeah.
have a clientele
You
that
can
you can
judge by the
take
line.
from the ones that are your farmers market, and you're gonna take them to your place.
Yeah.
So farmers market is a great place to start. I know
Test
there's
your
more and
concept.
more. It was really hard because there was just so little farmers markets, and the biggest one, the one that is still really hard to get into, is the main one, the downtown one.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge, but it is hard get in because it's too big and they don't like to repeat the same kind of things. Well, that's how it used to be. I don't know now, but now there's tons of farmers market. I think every city has their own
Every city's
farmers
got
market.
one. Yeah.
So that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
If you have an idea, if you want to sell barbecue or make your own sauce, or start with the farmers market. If it doesn't work, then you pack your little tent and you not spend your whole 100,000, 150,000 if you want to open a tiny restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Good place to test your concept. We recently went to a conference in New Orleans, and while we were there, we went to a farmer's market, and somebody at the farmer's market told us, oh, you've got to get this spice, from this table or whatever. So we went over there, and the lady wasn't there at the table,
Oh,
and there was only like 3 bottles of this spice left, and people were like lining up with her, even though she was gone, they were lining up waiting for her to come back.
So that means a good product.
I'm like, yeah, if you've got a product where people are lining up at your table, even if you're not there, and they're waiting for you to come back so that they can get the last few bottles of, your product, it's just like, wow.
Do you know that? That's another thing. Don't push it too hard. Like if she's there and people are waiting, people will get tired and they won't wait. It's like not having respect for the client.
Yeah, I think she had to
get
take
bored?
take her daughter to go to the bathroom or something like
Oh, I
that. So
see.
she was gone. It was just for a few minutes,
Okay.
but it was just like, yeah, she wasn't even there.
I
And
was pretty
people were
much every
lining up.
market. I felt bad, but I had tons of tamales, and in order for me to cook them, I would get up super early. So I was always late at my markets, like 10 minutes. My clients will help me set up.
Oh,
There was a huge line, and they will see me. Oh, she's here. And there were guys helping me with the tent, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. And they will help me put the table.
they're like, we got to get you set
we're
up
ready.
because we want your tamales.
Yeah, I say I love my clients.
Yeah.
That's what I miss the
awesome.
most, my clients.
Yeah. I can imagine. It's kind of how I feel here at the kitchen. It's like, I love Chamber of Commerce work, being at the West Jordan Chamber and the Sandy Chamber. It's like, I love the atmosphere of, just small businesses, just trying to scrap it out and and helping them with that. And it's like, that's kind of how I feel at the kitchen. It's like I've got my little chamber of commerce here with my clients, and so yeah, it's really rewarding to have that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like becoming a big family.
yeah.
Sometimes I see people and like, hey, how's your kid? And sometimes I don't remember now. I guess I'm getting old. I'm like, oh, good. And I'm like, where do I know him? So I start asking, so how do I know you? Oh, this farmer's market
Oh,
or
okay.
tamales or the restaurant. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But it is really cool to have a good relationship with the people.
Yeah, that part of the business is fun. So, I was going to ask you, what are some of so you work, do you work primarily with the Hispanic population?
Yeah, because I feel our community are misinformed a lot. I think a way to control people is to make them afraid. And then they have fear to even pay taxes, even to go and talk to the city. I had a comment the other day, a couple days ago. This person wanted to get a permit from another restaurant, and the restaurant was like, no, I don't want the health department here because they're going to fine me. If they find something, they always try to find something to get your money. And I was like, that's such a wrong concept of the health department.
Yeah, I don't think that's not the impression that I get. They're not trying to get money. They don't.
No, they are here to help you, to guide you, like I said, to protect the consumer.
Yeah.
And our community are so misinformed. So yeah, 99% of my clients are Hispanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think would be like what's the biggest piece of advice that you could give to the Hispanic community to offer encouragement to formalize their food business?
Don't be afraid. Look for help with a professional and educate yourself. That's why I always say education is the key.
What do you think is the best way for them to educate themselves?
With the health department, go to their classes and ask questions. I was there. I was calling. I even have the number of one of the inspectors. I know a lot of them won't do that, but I always text, hey, can they do this? Can they do that? How about this? I always ask questions. So ask questions. The health department is there to help. The city is there to help. I've known people that try to start doing construction before they get their license because they're afraid of the city, because they think that the city is not going to let them be there, or they're going to try to shut them down. Of course, they're going to shut you down if you don't have a permit.
If you don't do it the right way, yeah.
But there's a reason. That's why there's codes. What if there's a pillar that you don't like and you take it down and the whole building is going to come? That's why there's professionals.
Yeah.
So the advice is don't be afraid. I'm here to guide you, and there's other people that are there to guide you, and always ask questions. Why are you going to do this? If you find someone else to help you, ask questions. Why am I not getting my financials every month? Are my numbers okay? Can we meet? You are paying an accountant or a bookkeeper. You're paying them monthly. So you should get a response or an answer about your numbers monthly, not at the end of the year when you
Okay.
can't fix things.
Yeah.
Be on top of your numbers. And when you're overwhelmed, stop, breathe, and then look around you. I follow this guy. He says, a guy from Spain. He always says, there's a saying that life is like riding a bike, that you can't stop. You have to go fast, but we
Mhm.
have to stop. We have to stop to check our bike, to check the tires, to see which road we're going to take. You have to stop in life sometimes and see where you're going.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you, like I say, I was like a hamster going in a circle on the wheel, and I was not stopping and looking around and deciding the next step. I was just going with the flow, trying to survive.
How often would you suggest that somebody force themselves in to stop and think about what direction they're going if they're in the food business? I realize it's going to be different for everybody, but if you're starting a food business, how often do you?
I would say realistically, every month.
Once a month?
Yeah, like I said, to check your numbers and
Stop and look at your, okay, that's good.
look at your numbers
Hmm.
and see what, and make little goals. Let's say, okay, I know I sold this much. What can I do to sell more catering, more advertising? And every month, you are your own competitor. Don't compete with the other ones with price. You compete with yourself. Okay, this month I didn't make what I would sell this little rule. I don't know where I got it, but let's say you pay $1,000 of rent. So your minimum to sell will be 10,000. That's why I always tell them, that's a rule that I had. I don't know where I heard it. I don't know where I read it, but that's, so if you're paying $6,000 of rent, your goal should be to at least sell 60,000 a month.
Mm,
So like
okay.
10% should be your rent. I don't know who told me this,
Okay.
but it's kind of basic. Like if your rent is 6,000 and you're only selling 30,000, they're like, wow, I'm selling 30,000. Yeah, but you're paying $6,000 of rent. 30% of that is food, and then employees. Then you're really not making any money. You're just working for free. This is a hobby. So in order for you to have an idea, if you open a restaurant and say, okay, how much is this rent? Okay, 6,000. So I need to at least sell 60,000. How much are my products? I have a client that she gave me a list of her products, and I did the business plan, and she was already, the first 5 years, she was negative $13,000. I'm like, you either change your prices or you put other items that are more expensive, or you add catering. So those are the things you have to think. Every month, check your numbers and then
Gotcha.
do better the next month. And then stop again, check your numbers and compare with the 2 months behind. I think that will be a successful business.
Okay. How long do you think this process takes every month? So I mean, obviously you're sitting down with your clients once a month. How long do these meetings take to go over the
Well, I
numbers?
try to do them fast, 1 hour, 2 hours the max. So 1 to 2 hours. But once I teach them, some of them I don't meet monthly because they don't want to meet. But if I send them, because I already met a few months before, so they know how to read their profit and loss.
Okay, so you kind of teach them a little bit how to read the financials.
Yes.
And
So
then
when I send it to them, like if they don't want to meet, and they're like, yeah, you send it to me because I'm busy. I want them to commit to look at them and read them.
mhm.
And you see how, when they learn how to read them, you'll see how surprised of a change they do. They're like, wow, what am I doing? And then next month you see a big difference.
Ah,
So the numbers
interesting.
talk to you. So even if they don't meet with the accountant or bookkeeper or like with me, demand them to have them in your email. And then take an hour of a month.
Yeah,
Put it on your
an
schedule.
hour or two a month does not seem overwhelming. That seems
Yeah.
manageable
Yeah.
to take an hour or two a month
An
to
hour
just
to read,
review the
an hour to
financials.
plan. So max 2 hours. And I think that'll be a really successful business. Like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. You mentioned that when you're running a food business, you can get really overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And this is what I hear a lot from my clients is there's, everybody has the romantic idea that they're just going to open their doors and the people will come and they will buy their food. And that's not the way it works. And having a food business is really actually kind of a difficult business. And it takes a lot more effort than people originally anticipate. And there's a lot more moving pieces than people realize when they start going down this road. And everybody, even the most successful food businesses that I see, everybody kind of hits those points in their business where they just want to cry. And it's overwhelming and it's frustrating, and you get dealt one blow after another, and some days it can be too much.
Yeah.
What do you say to your clients during those moments?
I was talking to someone, like one of my clients, while I was coming here. She was really stressed out and she was feeling a pain in her leg, and she was taking the stress like really, really bad.
Internalizing it, yeah.
Yeah. And I told her, always think what's the worst thing that could happen to you or to the business. Let's say, because I've been there. Like I worked really hard for farmers markets at the farmers markets, and I will save money for the hard times, which was like the winter time. And by the time I was done with the farmers markets, my freezers decided to go out. So I had to spend the money that I was saving on either buying a freezer or changing the compressor or something else. It was like a pattern.
Yeah.
It was so stressful.
Always making just enough to reinvest.
Yes, yes. So it was so stressful. But then now that, like I said, that I'm outside, and I said it wasn't worth it. I was getting sick, like physically. And then that's what I told her. When you're overwhelmed, think what's the worst thing that could happen. It could happen. The landlord is a person. You can talk to the landlord. Hey, can you split my rent for this month or 2 months? Can I pay you half? I don't know. Some kind of negotiation. With the Utah State Tax Commission, they're flexible too.
Yeah.
There's always a solution.
And it doesn't hurt to ask.
Exactly. Even if they say no, you already asked. Okay, now there's another door that I need to knock. But always think of what's the worst that could happen? If you're doing things right with the CD, with the taxes, with the health department, if it's something about your equipment, I'm going to tell you something really quick. It's just when I was opening the restaurant where I was at, it's a story you won't believe. I opened the restaurant with no money.
Really?
Yeah. So I had a restaurant in Kearns. I opened with my mom and my ex-husband, and we were successful. Then divorce came, and then the road, they were working on the road on 5400, and we were not making any money. And I tried to talk to the landlord.
Construction will kill you. Yeah.
The landlord was not helping us. So I moved to a commercial kitchen, which was really bad. That's why I love your kitchen, and that's why I bring everybody, because I had really bad experience at the other kitchen with the people around. And then I end up being kicked out because I used too much space in the kitchen to make my tamales. So I was one day just thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had no money. I saw that place and I talked to the landlord where the tamalista was in 78. He was a blessing in my life. He believed in me. He opened the doors. He said, yeah, I'm not going to charge you rent. I'm not going to do anything. I found friends that helped me. I was selling tamales by order. I was still at the kitchen, working my way out just until my rent was over. I met people from a paint store. Like I went and offered and I started doing deliveries. And then I was like, hey, could you tell me how much the paint is? Because I wanted to see how much money I needed to save. And they're like, how about we give you all the paint that you need and then you pay us with tamales.
Wow.
So I painted the whole place with tamales. Then I needed a 3-compartment sink that was, because my pots are huge and the one I had was not going to pass inspection. And I was looking through KSL and I found this one and I called the guy. I was like, you don't know me. I need this. I don't have any money. I need to open this place. Can I give you post-dated checks, like one a month? It was like 650. It was a 3 compartment. He said yes.
Wow.
I was super
Wow.
blessed when I opened that restaurant.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations to you for asking. You know,
It took me a year and a half, but
sometimes, yeah, you just need to ask.
asked. And then the last day when I thought I had passed all the inspections and I thought it was the health department and I was so sure I was going to pass because I knew the codes. Um, there was not a code that I didn't know. It was the lighting of the hood. It was not enough candles or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the on the mop sink, the faucet was not right. It needed a stopper or something, and that thing was $250.
Oh my gosh.
I had $30 in my pocket, so I did not pass inspection, but I had already cooked tamales. And I talked to people that will sell food, all the meat and everything. They lend me all the products for me to make tamales. So I already owe that money, and I had tamales had already cooked, hoping that I will just turn on and put it on Facebook because I already had followers waiting for me to open. So I did not pass inspection. So I'm like, I go into the plumbing place and I was like, so thinking, I'm like, maybe they'll give me payments. And I was like, I need this. I didn't pass inspection. And they're like, well, we don't have it. It's going to take a couple of weeks. And another guy, he's like, let me see. What do you need? Oh, I need a stopper. I need this this faucet. It's like, no, I have this one right here. It's $15. It's not the faucet, but you can install it in yours. Ask your inspector. I send the picture to the inspector and he's like, yeah, that will work. I install it. He goes back. I pass inspection. I Facebook my
Hit
clients.
send on all your ads.
I'm like, I'm open. And people started coming. That place for me was a blessing. But I
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah.
I knock on the doors.
Wow. Yeah.
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 So I know you can do it. If I did it, you guys can open a restaurant. That's what I tell everybody.
It can be done. It can
Yeah.
be done.
Yeah.
So you were saying one of the things that you mentioned was that you were saving for winter.
Yeah.
Like you would be making hay in the summer, but yeah, talk about like planning for winter. What does planning for winter look like in the food business? Like what do you think is necessary?
I did not plan right. In my head, I was planning, but I did not know my numbers. So I thought that saving $4,000 for me was like, wow, because I was not used to having a lot of money at the bank because I was always short because I was not knowledgeable of my numbers. So if I knew how much to save, I would have actually saved for the winter. So again, know your numbers and see how much you can save. Well, if you can, like let's say you're really busy in the summertime, maybe put like 3 months aside because you know that you're going to survive in case that those 3 months are really bad. I know that sometimes it's not possible, but I'm
Yeah.
saying
Now, when you say set aside 3 months, three
of
months
payments
of revenue, like,
yeah, or
so if you normally make like $10,000 a month,
not revenue, but of your how much you spend
okay.
because that way you're covered. If there's a little bit extra on the winter time,
So like your rent, your utilities,
something
things
to
like
survive,
that.
to buy your food,
Okay.
to
Three
pay your
months
employees,
expenses.
3 months
Okay.
expenses, yeah.
Okay.
If possible, if not, at least a month. But like I said, I thought I was saving, but it was $3,000 or $4,000. Of course, if a freezer went down, that's how much it would cost
Of
to
course.
replace it.
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
Just
like I
perfect
said,
amount.
maybe I was going in the right direction. I was going blindfolded
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I did not know my numbers.
Yeah.
So again, know your numbers, get knowledgeable.
Yeah. So if you had to go back knowing what you know now, okay, you were mentioning earlier that you would start with catering rather than doing a restaurant. But knowing what you know now about the food industry and business, do you think your restaurant would have survived
Yes.
knowing what you know now?
Yeah. I had a good product. I still have people calling me. In the summertime, when there's farmers markets, they call me. I have people from farmers markets that want me in their market. So I know I had a good product.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know how to manage it. If I had the help, um, I don't think it was my time. I think I had to learn the hard way in order for me to help other people. That's why I always maybe to make me feel better. Because
Isn't
I
that funny?
sometimes I
Like
feel like a
we
loser.
all have to learn the hard way for one reason or another, but
Yeah.
it's like if we would just take advice,
Yeah.
that it would be so much further ahead. But why is it that we just have to learn things the hard way? I don't know.
Because that's how human beings are. That's
I
why
guess
it happened
so.
the same thing over and over until we learn. And
Yeah.
then, okay, I learned this. I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
And that's how I was. I was just trying to survive. I was just a fighter. I
Yeah.
was not being smart.
Yeah.
I like if people would say, I will, in the for Christmas around Christmas time, it was I almost pretty much didn't sleep
Mm.
because I was just getting ready for all these orders and I was just trying to pass that craziness of the Christmas orders and at the end it was I will hire more people. Like I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know my numbers. I will hire more people for that. But then at the end I didn't have any more money
Yeah.
because I hired the extra people that I could have maybe do something different. And I don't know. I totally know. And I even told my mom, if we open another restaurant, if we open another tamales tita, I know we're not gonna close again. I just don't want to anymore. I don't think physically I can go all over again.
Yeah.
I just rather help people with
Yeah.
their business. And every business is so exciting because every business is um like a new project and my head starts thinking, oh, maybe we can do this, we can do that, and I give them all these ideas and they get to decide, but then I can move on to another idea. I'm like, what, look at this. So it's more refreshing for me than being
Yeah.
stuck into the same.
Routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing about once you learn a business, once you know a business, and once you know how to be successful at a certain business, it becomes very repetitious. It becomes very boring, and that's hard for a lot of entrepreneurs to hang in there for the boring part because it's like, yeah, we get we like the fun part where we're innovating and creating
Yeah.
and then yeah, once you get dialed in
Then you
on,
stop creating
then you stop
because you're
creating.
into
But yeah,
the.
but then it becomes very repetitious. Then
Hmm.
the mental work becomes, can I do this over and over and over and do it more and do it better without losing my mind?
Yeah. See, there was something that my accountant told me once. Um, because after a year where I was like, what am I doing wrong? I like crying. Why am I so business? I just not ready, blah blah blah. And he would say, are you working in your business or on your business? Because if you he's like, do you usually clean in your business? I'm like, yeah, I keep my place really clean. And he's like, so you are the one taking the broom and sweeping and stuff. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, well, you know, you're paying $100 an hour a person to sweep. I'm like, no. He's like, you're paying yourself
Yeah.
$100 an hour to sweep. You
Yeah.
can pay another person 15, 16, $17 an hour to clean your restaurant and you get out of there and you find business.
Yeah.
So that's one of the problems I see as well. They're so into the business, they don't trust anybody to do anything and they can't bring any more business. I have one of my clients that I told him, okay, I'm going to make these cards for you, and you're going to go and talk to the people directly to make him come in here. Don't give the cards to anybody. Don't hire to do that job. To bring customers in is your job. Even hiring the right person to do advertising, interviewing them, asking them, what are you going to do to bring? When am I going to see results? How much are you going to charge me? So that's your job. Instead of giving someone that is not hurting their pocket to bring business. Like if you give someone to put flyers and to bring people, they're not going to talk about their business. They don't care. They're getting paid.
Yeah.
But you're not getting paid. So you're going to make him fall in love with your business or your food. Like, hey, come here, look at this. I'm going to make this and that. So people are like intrigued and then they go in. So always work on your business, not in your business. At the beginning, you have to work in. But like I say,
Yeah.
after you learn it, hire someone and then move on to the next step.
Yeah. Make sure you're always doing the highest and best use of your time.
Yes. This time is
'Cause
valuable.
you know what? Sometimes though, the sweeping and the cleaning is fun. It's work, but it's fun. It's kind of, it's mindless work. And so you think you're being productive, but really you're just
Trying to escape responsibilities.
yeah, you're trying to escape the things you really don't want to
Yeah.
do. But yeah, sweeping and mopping can be therapeutic
Yeah.
and fun. And so it's like, yeah, it's easy to want to do that
Mhm.
because you feel like, oh, I'm working so hard by doing these things. But yeah, but as the business owner, you need to
Another
be
thing,
doing better
that's
things.
another thing that we should do, I know it's hard for a lot of businesses, is to give time to ourselves, to the family, and to ourselves. But I think most important, ourselves. I know it might sound like kind of selfish, but you know how they always say, put the mask on first and then put it on the young ones or the ones that need help. Because if you're not doing okay, how are you going to help your family?
Yeah.
Like I tell one of my clients, if you have 2 or 3 employees and it's kind of slow and then you already did your part for the day, take 1 hour and maybe go to the gym
Yeah.
and do a routine. Organize your day. Because sometimes we have so much and we're used to being busy. And then when we're not busy, we try to find the things so we are busy.
Yeah.
But we're not spending the time, like quality time, to grow our business or to help ourselves.
Yeah.
So always put maybe once a month, you already have 1 hour to 2 to set up to grow your business. Or now, maybe once a week, do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Go take a walk, or if you don't like walk, go to the movies, or go to the library, or do something that you like
Yeah.
for yourself. It will help you strong, and then your mind, you will go crazy
Yeah.
and you won't get sick. Because I could tell you, I was really sick. I could not stop working, or
Yeah.
else like my body will kind of cool down, and I could not walk.
Mm.
I'll be like sitting down. I will have to eat standing up and like running, running, running. Because if I sat down to eat and then someone will come, I will get up like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What's wrong?" "Oh, I'm sore."
Yeah.
No, because I feel like an old lady. I have to make up stories.
Well, yeah,
So
because your
don't
body's
don't get
trying to
sick. Yeah,
recover.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So make time for yourself. I
Yeah.
have so
Good
much to tell
advice.
them. So just call me. Tell me. I'll help you out. So you
Yeah.
don't go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The emotional support, I think, is important in your role too,
Yeah.
where, because yeah, that it is a bit of a roller coaster, business, owning your own business can be super fun and exciting at times, and then other times it can be just devastating and challenging, and then you're back up on top again, and it's like, yeah, you just kind of have to keep riding the wave.
Yeah.
And so it's good to have, I think, somebody like you, that can be in, not only, consulting with the, as far as the business goes, but that emotional support, that somebody that you can call and say, wow, this
Yeah.
is going on and that's going on and I'm having all these problems or whatever. And just that voice on the other line to just say, it's okay. This is normal. It happens. You're going to get through this. This time next week, you will have forgotten all about this. You're going to get through it. You're going to be able to
Yeah.
move forward. But yeah, so it's sometimes being an entrepreneur can be lonely.
Yes.
And so I think that's awesome that you offer that support to your
Yeah.
clients as well, because it's
I get too involved, like into the business. I always take him like it hurts me too when they see him
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
and I always think like even when I go home, I'm like, how can I help him? And then sometimes I call him or I text him, "Are you awake? How about you do this, or how about this, or have you thought about?"
yeah.
It's I get
I'm the same way. Yeah, I get emotionally involved in the success of my clients' businesses, and I love it when they're successful. I love I have clients that have grown out of my facility and moved on, and they'll text me, like I'm one of the first people they text when they win an award, or you
That's
know, when
awesome.
something goes good in their business and they're just like, hey, I just wanted you to know. And I'm just like, I love that. I love that even though they're graduated and
Yeah.
gone, that they still want to share their success with me.
You were the first step.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
step to success. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's awesome.
it's really rewarding.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's all the things I can think of. But definitely, you know, if we do you have anything else you want to add? Anything that you want
No,
to
I
make
just think
sure?
take care of themselves. Like I said, knowledge again, work on your business. Um, train your employees is super important. Train yourself and your employees
Yeah.
and always follow rules. And don't be afraid of ask.
Yeah.
Just
If you're trying to follow the rules, everybody, all
will
the
help you.
regulatory agencies, the city, the health department,
Yeah.
everybody will help you if you're trying to follow the rules.
Yes. They are so good. They're so
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go there and they're busy and they're like in a bad mood or something,
Yeah.
but you
Everybody has their days.
yes, even
Yeah.
it's hard to work at
So
it.
are there, I'm assuming there's lots of Spanish speaking people at the health
Yeah.
department that can,
The two ladies, once you walk in, I'm talking about Salt Lake County, on the Utah County, just on the phone. I haven't been personally,
okay.
but the Salt Lake County, there's two ladies. One of them, her name is Nancy, and she's super helpful. She teaches the Spanish class of
Okay.
the Serve Safe. And the other lady, well, there's two ladies, so Nancy and there's another lady that speaks Spanish. But I think a lot of
There
the
should be somebody
inspectors
there that speaks
speak
Spanish
Spanish.
when they
There's
stop in.
always someone that speaks Spanish. Always. Nancy's there. If she's on vacation, there's the other lady. If not, a lot of the inspectors. So there's always that speak Spanish. And if you
Okay.
have a question, you can just call, ask for someone and say, can I do this? Can I do that? Or how do I do this?
Yeah.
And if you need my help, you're welcome to contact me. And I'll guide you. I'll go with you. And like some people say, oh, I want to start a food truck, but the class of the food truck is too expensive. Like the first class that you have to take, there's no charge.
Yeah. I was going to say, isn't that one free?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because other people are saying, oh, I'm going to sign you up, but it's going to have a cost.
Mm.
So that's free. Call the health department and they'll guide you. Oh, another thing I learned, the fees are coming up on January.
Oh, yeah. January 1st, 2025, the fees from the health department are going to increase. What are
Yes.
they going to be?
Well, right now, I think for the plan review for the trucks, I just heard that on one of the classes. I think right now it's like 670 something, and they say it was gonna go up to the 800,
Oh, my land.
and the
Wow.
license as well.
That's a huge increase.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Huh.
So if you
And
guys
that's just for food trucks?
well, no, the whole health department is gonna go.
Okay.
Like,
So all the plan review
yeah,
permits are going to be
plan
800.
review and risk assessment.
Okay.
I think that one's 677 as well, and it's going up.
Oh,
But
my
everything they
gosh.
say everything's gonna go up. So let's hurry up in restaurants in December.
Yeah. Hurry, everybody get licensed.
Which I never recommend opening a restaurant at the end of the year because people or like try to open at the beginning of the year. People are spending money on like gifts and then
Christmas.
yeah, in
Yeah.
January people are on a diet and they're trying to save money to pay all the credit cards for Christmas they spend on Christmas. So I think January is the worst month to open a food business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or unless it's a healthy healthy food
Yeah.
business,
Unless you're
then
doing
that
like
one's super gonna be busy.
fitness. Yeah.
Fitness and all that. All those businesses that are fitness,
Do really
great
well in
time to
January.
start. Great time to start. But food,
Good to know. Yeah. If
yeah.
you're doing meal prep, start in January.
Yes, yes. It's a great time.
Everybody's.
We'll start like right now,
Yeah.
so you can get advantage of the prices right now, and then advertising, so people when they're ready to.
Well, if you're doing a meal prep business, though, if you're doing that fitness meal prep business,
Oh, I just learned that today again.
yeah, we just
Department of
go
Agriculture.
through the Department of Agriculture
Yeah.
instead of the health department.
Yes.
Save what
A lot of money.
$400 to $600 depending on
Yeah.
your timing.
Yeah. So this is a great time for people that are other businesses that are not food related, but like yoga.
That's an interesting thought, though. I haven't thought about that. Like what food businesses do well in the winter, but yeah, that meal prep, fitness meal prep in January would be
Perfect.
perfect timing. Yeah. Which might make that the most weather resistant food business?
Yes. Do you know there's a pattern here in Utah? And like I said, I've been in this business for so long. So I know the months that are busier. You will think that the summertime is super busy for businesses. It is busy, but the busiest time is springtime.
Mm,
When the weather is still kind of cold, but people are sick of wearing
being
jackets and being
inside and
inside. And once you see a little bit of sun, people go out and start eating out, and you'll see the restaurants are full. Once the summer hits, then they go on vacation, so there's not a lot of people. So the business is still busy, but not as busy as the the spring.
mm,
And then like at the end of October and November are probably super slow. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a food business, you'll see October and November are the slowest months because people are getting ready for Christmas, for Black Friday, to save some money
yeah.
for that. And then once after, well, right when Black Friday happens, so that Friday on, super busy again.
Mm,
People get together for like the Christmas groups and it's super busy. But
yeah.
it's a pattern, and I'm telling you. And then January it's dead, dead. Then February people, and then gyms are super busy. You can't even park. They're packed.
Yeah.
And then people start kind of forgetting February, March, and again. And look at it. It's a pattern. If you know your numbers, you're gonna see your numbers in that pattern.
Yeah. Rusty was Salt City Barbecue. He used to work for a barbecue restaurant, and he said that he he would have like a slow day at the restaurant, and he'd be like, "Man, it was dead today. What the heck?" And he would go back and look at that exact day the year before and go, "Oh yeah, this day's always dead."
Yeah.
For whatever reason, don't know why.
Yeah.
This day
And
all throughout history is always dead.
if you look at those numbers, then you're prepared for that day.
Yeah.
You say, I'm not gonna cook that much. It's usually slow.
Yeah.
Like when I was at Leatherby's, one of the managers was just like that. He's awesome. His name is Kenny, and he will just when we're kind of slow, he will go and look at the books. Like, yeah, we're gonna be busy for the rest of the night because this happened, and like school, or we're gonna be really busy at this time because there's football games or whatever,
Yeah.
and it happened. So the numbers talk to you. Always listen to the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Follow the numbers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
I really appreciate the time you're giving me
Yeah.
to talk
Thank you
everything
for
I had
coming in.
inside.
Yeah.